Stay awake, not woke, I'm tuned in. Your point of view too far, need to zoom in. Ain't got no facts, you assuming. About to call them blue, the way you be cluing. Stay awake, not woke, I'm tuned in. Your point of view too far, need to zoom in. Ain't got no facts, you assuming. About to call them blue, the way you be cluing. Have we had enough of your lies for one night? Have we felt enough of our pain to know it's real? How do you feel? Sick and tired of the lies, all I'm feeling is the pain. It's the devil in disguise while I'm standing in the rain. Water pouring from the sky, but you tell me the opposite. Like I don't have a consciousness, like I'm stuck in the matrix and my brain's up for the taking. But we don't do that, I know my facts. They say that he was elected, but where the stats at? They say that jab the only way to get your life back. But if you have a heart attack, then they will go to hide that. Look at the FDA, acting like KKK, trying to run all our lives like we they brand new slaves. Lose the job, bent from plain segregation, all the same. They call themselves progressives, but they taking us all back again. Bring the world to darkness and sacrifice the children then. When it's said and done, then you will never live with hope again. I say that we break the chains, we can't leave the world the same. Make love real again. As we fly above the truth, I ask of God, am I with you? I walk the path, go to the light, but still I feel that. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages from all across the world. Today is the day. The lights are dimmed red. We've got the fighting atmosphere within us. The blood of patriots flows in us. And today is going to be a great day. Today is Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022. I almost said 2023. It almost feels like it. But today is primary day and in some places election day for some really cool things coming up very soon. Very, very soon. We're going to be covering all of that and more, but first things first, shout out to all the folks who are tuned in the building today. Toy Mafia, Australia Day every day, my folks over on Rumble, my folks over on Gitter, 2022 Free US, all that. Somebody says, love my Giza sheets, worth the money. I like that. I hope you used code CRUMP when you got them dang Giza sheets, or we're going to have a little bit of a problem. But anyways, enough with the dilly-dallying. We've got a packed show today. We're going to start off with our very first updates. Now, the polls closed in Florida an hour ago, so what we're going to be scrolling through is a lot of results that have been scrolling through in the last hour. But just to give you guys the update, here are the races that have gone forth, and here are the races that have been called. So, of course, in Florida, this is NBC News, so they're listing the Democratic primary results first on various seats, and I don't know the competitive ratios of all these seats, but if you're interested in any of these, just take a quick skim. 1, 3, 4, 7, all these are listed here. I guess there might have just been no one running in a House District 2. They didn't even bother. Or 5 or 6. That might just be... It is Florida country anyways. But let's keep going. Now we're getting to the fun stuff. Now, for some reason, this source isn't showing anything for House District 1. We're going to check somewhere else on that one. But that's Matt Gaetz' district, who was just endorsed by Trump today, I think, or like in the last couple of days, very, very recently. Trump waited until the last minute to endorse Matt Gaetz, which was very interesting. Kat Kamek, who is the current incumbent, won supposedly by 85%. We're going to see how that goes in, as there's still votes to be counted. A being in House 4, House 5, House 6. Now is the part where we get to the very interesting places. Candidates that have really ruffled a lot of feathers, including Anthony Sabatini, who was a favorite amongst many people and had his name very far out there. Now, there were a lot of candidates in this race, and so it really was an extremely split race. But as of now, NBC calls it for Corey Mills to win in House District 7 of Florida, and will go on to face the Democrat contender that looks like it'll be Kay Green. I don't know how competitive that district is. Like I said, it's not my home state, so I don't know too much about all these until we get a bit further down. But Corey Mills looks like he'll be the one with nearly a 10,000 vote lead, actually above a 10,000 vote lead, ahead of Anthony Sabatini, and with B. Duke even only 6,000 votes behind Sabatini. This was a very split race right here. This is the danger of somebody who can be so internationally known like A. Sabatini and even Corey Mills, yet still having so many other choices, and somebody's going to be like, well, I'll vote for this person, I'll vote for this person. That's kind of the problem with that. Not necessarily a problem, but that shows you that people aren't going to be just for two separate candidates. But now we get even further and check out some more very heated races, including House District 11's race. Now, this race has not been called yet, and although supposedly 99% of the vote is in, I'm not too trusting of this number, but this is the race that included controversial figure and one of the most, actually, I think the most banned woman in America, Laura Loomer, who is at 44% of the vote, with Daniel Webster, who is the incumbent, at 50%. Now, we're going to talk a whole lot more about this race, because I did some personal looking into this one, about the candidates with Daniel Webster, and that was very interesting. But if you or you know somebody who is in the Villages of Florida, this district does encompass the entirety of the Villages, including Sumter County. So that has some big weight to it with Florida, the Villages, all that. So this is the race that happened here with House District 11. We're still going to keep an eye on this as things develop, but a big development is coming from House District 13. It has been officially called that Ana Paulina Luna, or A Luna as this place lists it, has won the House 13 race in Florida. So she will more than likely, and I don't even think there is a Democratic opposition, doesn't look like there is, so she will, without a shadow of a doubt, be the next congresswoman from House District 13 in Florida, with 44% of the votes with the vote at 35,000 in comparison to Kay Hayslett at 27,000. That is a big win right there. You guys may know Ana Paulina, as she's been very public on the field for a long time. She used to work with Turning Point USA, all that good stuff. There's a few other races here, House District 14, 15, 16, and 18, mostly incumbents holding on. House District 15 does have a new one here, L. Lee. I haven't paid too much attention to this one, but it looks like it's going to be pretty good, although House District 15 does have a Democratic opponent, and we're going to have to see what happens there. It looks like their turnout's a little bit lower, though, so we'll see. We shall see. But it doesn't stop just with House races, of course. We have a lot of incumbents that are holding on, like Byron Donald, who is heavy power in Florida, and a few others as well. But we've got some other races to take a look at as well, including the Florida Senate race. Now, of course, you guys know the Democrats are going to do everything they can to raise that Florida Senate ceiling they have, I guess we can call it. They want to get that seat from Marco Rubio. So they have Val Demings absolutely destroying her opposition with 85% of the vote in comparison to Brian Rush's merely 6%. 1.1 million votes for Val Demings today. Now, of course, as you guys know, Marco Rubio ran unopposed. I believe he's the one that's up. Let me just confirm that. I don't want to be saying something wrong, but I believe it was his seat that is up today. His class, I should say, that is up against. Okay, yes, just making sure. Sometimes you can get that flip-flop. But Val Demings, chances of beating Marco Rubio, according to polls, we'll look at all that later on. But as you guys can see, Val Demings just completely swept, aside from, what is this county? Liberty County, where Brian Rush, only 7% of the vote is in. Okay, well, that explains it. So Val Demings to be going up against Marco Rubio this November with 1.1 million votes. That is a strong showing, but we're going to have to look at some polls, but I doubt it's going to get anywhere. But now, the biggest news out of Florida, the gubernatorial race in Florida. Now, as you guys know, there have been two candidates hashing it out for the Democratic nomination in Florida to go up against Governor Ron DeSantis. Now, many have considered this an uphill battle for quite obvious reasons. But either way, drum roll please, although I just kind of spoiled it. Let me see if I can find my drum roll. I think it should be right. Charlie Crist will be facing Ron DeSantis this November with only 90% of the vote in, but is looking pretty solid as he has hundreds of thousands of votes over Nikki Fried. So this is going to be big. It's going to be white guy versus white guy. I guess they're not so, what's the word I'm looking for? Intersectional after all. I really would have thought they would have jumped at the chance to put Nikki Fried up there. I mean, look at her. She's a woman. Obviously, that's optical. You know? I'm not trying to be offensive, but you guys get what I'm saying here. You guys made your choice. The Florida Democrats did what they wanted to do. So 59.2% of the vote, looking very good for Charlie Crist. But we've got a few other races to look at. Before we continue on to those, I do want to take another quick look at CNN, because they have some other numbers as well. We have House District 11 highlighted here. As you guys can see, Webster's lead is widening. Actually, I was watching this race before the stream, and he was only about 4,000 votes ahead. He has now widened his lead to 5,200 votes ahead. So that is Daniel Webster, who is the current incumbent and has been serving Florida District 11 since 2016, if I'm correct. Might be even longer, but he's been there quite a while, and he's holding on. And as you can see, here's the county breakdown as well, with Loomer only leading in one county and only by a little over 1,000 votes. So, as you guys can see, Laura Loomer, as controversial as she is, seems to not have been able to pull enough, but we'll see. We'll see. The interesting thing about this is that there's still 65% of the vote left to be counted in Lake, supposedly. Those are all estimations. And still a good a bit left to be counted in Polk, but that lead is widening, so it looks like Webster will be it, and that race will probably be called during the stream, and I'll keep you guys updated on that one. But we can also take a look at some of the other results from Florida as well. Obviously, Christ and Fried, Demings destroying her competition, just crazy. Attorney General, we're not too worried about any of those, but now we have some results for Matt Gaetz' race at long last, and he is pulling off very, very well with 67% of the vote. So it looks like Matt Gaetz will not be primaried. This time he will not go the way of Cawthorn, unfortunately. So it's looking very good. Corey Mills, a lot of the races have been called. The only races not yet to be called are, in fact, Webster's, Gates's, and then probably a couple of others lower on down the line. Yeah, like this one, Florida 22, and a few others down here, which we're not too concerned about. They haven't been very national. So just Laura Loomer and Matt Gaetz left, with Matt Gaetz having a much better outlook than Laura Loomer at this point. But it is all yet to be seen. Jay Spears asks about Pinellas. Is that the county? Pinellas County? Tell me more about this, and we'll take a look for you, Jay. This is a community show, so you guys give me some feedback as to what to be looking at. So let me know what I should check out. But anyways, we have plenty of other news to be jumping into, plenty of other states. So let's take a quick look at what's happening in Florida. I don't know. He said Pinellas County. Yes. What race is that in? Is that in Florida? Oh, is that in Gates's district? Gates. Let me see if I can take a closer look here. Closer gander. Yeah, no, it's not in this one. Which district was that in? Let me know if you know what district that was in. I didn't catch that. I know the county you're talking about, but I did not catch that. Anyways, in the meantime, while you get that to me, we're going to check out New York. Now, of course, as you guys know, we have general New York Democratic primaries, and I think a lot of these still have yet to get much filtered in. In fact, I don't even know if the polls are closed over there yet, but as you can see, we're not seeing any major names to be keeping an eye out for, but that's in the House. Right now, the governor's race is what I'm very, very interested in. Now, Kathy Hochul is obviously pulling off very, very well against Thomas Suozzi and Jermaine Williams, but yeah, that's what happens when you just kind of inherit it, you run, and you keep it. But on the Republican side, Lee Zeldin looks like he is leading Andrew Giuliani by a heavy, heavy margin. So it looks like he will be the one again, because I believe he ran last time, right? I recognize the name Lee Zeldin, and I think he ran before and lost to Andrew Cuomo, so he's back in. Correct me if I'm wrong. We don't have time to check back into it, but I know, I at least know he's been up in New York running for things before. It might have been Senate. Feel free to fact check me on that one. I'm not too certain about that, but let me know. Dagny says New York polls close at 9 Eastern. Well, we've got a show to be checking out then. We'll keep an eye on that, but it looks like gubernatorial stuff, I should say, is already starting to come in, with Kathy Hochul already as the projected winner and Lee Zeldin as well for the Republican side. So if polls close at 9, I don't know what's happening then. Jay Spears says Tampa. Okay, what congressional? Oh, would that be? Is that Anna Polina's district? We'll take another quick gander at that for you. Okay, House, and then that would be District 13. If my information's correct. Oh, I have to go to this one. Hold on. We're going to go to FL13. Is that Pinellas County? Oh, those are the candidates. Yeah, okay, Pinellas. Okay, yes. Good job. Round of applause for me. I'm happy about that. Yeah, Pinellas County. Luna is leading by a landslide. Boom, there you go. I was trying to find another alliterative term. So Luna leading landslide. I like that. That's the triple L's, but Luna was not taking an L tonight, as she has 36,000 votes, nearly leading Hazlitt by almost 10,000, which is big. But like that other district we were looking at, there are quite a few candidates here, so that definitely drove things a little bit. And if there were less candidates, Luna might have cracked above 50%. She was already very close, and you ask some people, she basically did it. That's Pinellas County, but there's also a few other counties as well, right? Or is District 13 all one county? That would be very... Well, Tampa is big. So that would make sense. So that's the update there. Nothing more coming from Webster Loomer. We're just waiting for people to call it, honestly, before the Loomer campaign can officially do whatever it does, whatever campaigns have to do. Hip Hop Thinker says it's a New York thing. Hip Hop Thinker, are you a New Yorker? Are you a native New Yorker? I don't know much about New York other than that song. You're a native New Yorker, up in Harlem, down on Broadway. I don't know. That's all I know. It was a song way back in the day. I don't think any of y'all would know it. It's before y'all's time, obviously. I'm playing with y'all, but now we have to go somewhere where people are not playing. I don't know how many of y'all know, but there are actually some special House elections happening right now for, I assume, candidates that resigned or went on to other things or maybe passed. I know there were some candidates that recently passed away, although I think those special elections might be for later. But that is here in New York. Now, apparently, the polls close at 9, so I don't know when that's actually going to come through. But here are the 2 districts we're going to keep an eye on as things go along. If they close at 9, we might not have the time to cover that tonight. As you guys can see, we do have a full show to jump into today after we're done looking at primary results. But as you can see, it's P. Ryan and M. Molinaro, as well as M. Delapia versus J. Simpliniski. If there's one thing I know about New York, they love to have just really complicated names. I don't know. Is that racist to say? Is that racist? I don't know. The names are hard. Names are hard, let me tell you. And last but not least, we have the Oklahoma Senate runoff between the primaries. So Democrats, it's Horn versus Bollinger, and it doesn't look like there's even a Republican primary to speak of, I think. Republican primary runoff to speak of. So it looks like it's just Democrats. And then there's a House runoff as well, so that's for House District 2, and a gubernatorial runoff. Unless this is just earlier results. Is this just earlier results? Or is this... No, this has to be today because there's still 99% of the expected vote in. So they're still counting votes. I could only assume so. But this is only on the Democrat side. Okay. All right, fair enough. Yeah, that makes sense then. And then Attorney General, this guy. Okay. Yeah, there's not much to speak of here. Oh, this was actually pretty close. 50 to 49. That almost would have... Oh, the incumbent got beat. Oh, man. You do like to see that sometimes, a little bit of regime change. We like a bit of chaos around here, keeping people fresh, you know? I can't always say a primary is a bad thing, which is why I'm a little upset about what Florida was doing with some of these good candidates we had, like in House District 11, which it's been officially called for Daniel Webster, so it looks like he will continue to serve Florida's 11th Congressional District, but also in House District 7 with Corey Mills. Now, I'm not one to be endorsing Sabatini or Mills. I don't know enough about either candidate, but I know quite a few friends of mine that were endorsing Anthony Sabatini, and I've met Sabatini as well, so I can at least say he's something that I could have looked at. But hey, things go the way they do for a reason, and I guess the voters make their choice, and until we see otherwise that will call into doubt about that, we're going to have to leave it there, because you guys know how election misinformation can really screw a channel. Yep. It's just gone. You'll be gone. Anyways, Hip Hop Thinker says, I thought Oklahoma had a special election on the Republican side. I was looking for that, because that's what I heard as well, just as side elections to look at while we're waiting for more results from Florida or moving on to other topics. So, I don't know. Australia Day says, well, we are 12 hours ahead of you, so I could tell you the outcome, but I'll give you a hint. Trump 2024. I like that. I've always joked about Australians just really living in the future. So that's our election update right now. Most races in Florida have been called. And just to give you guys another quick rundown, just in case you didn't hear before, we're going to give a quick, Cliff Notes version of who has won. So Matt Gaetz, Kat Kammack, Corey Mills, and Daniel Webster on Apollina Luna. So the only candidate that was an incumbent holding on, Daniel Webster, but as well as Matt Gaetz and Kat Kammack. Also, Trump endorsed Matt Gaetz on Apollina, so there are some Trump victories tonight, and we expect Trump to be posting about that. We'll take a look soon. Laura Loomer was not Trump endorsed as of, well, at any point of the election, so that goes to show you that that Trump endorsement does carry some weight, and it might just be the last thing that'll carry you over the finish line, but unfortunately for Loomer, she did not get that Trump endorsement, and it looks like, well, maybe even if she did get it, she might not have won. We have seen plenty of Trump endorsements, especially in the southern states, losing out. But for now, Daniel Webster holds on. It looks like that race has been called, 99% supposedly in. That's where things are right now. So if you are a Florida viewer, which I expect a good amount of my people are, there's your update. If you see your House district recognized here, you now know who more than likely will be leading you come November. But anyways, we have plenty of topics to be jumping into tonight. We spent the first 20 minutes of the show covering the primaries, and we may circle back around if we get some more updates and things of that nature coming in. But for now, we're going to jump into some breaking news that may implicate the Biden White House in the Trump raid of Mar-a-Lago. This is some big stuff right here that you are not going to want to miss out on. So let's check in. Documents show that the Biden White House had supposed involvement in Trump criminal probe. Several correspondence between Trump's attorneys and members of the Biden administration revealed that the federal government appeared poised to waive Trump's claims of executive privilege over documents that Trump kept at Mar-a-Lago until earlier this year. A May 10th letter from acting National Archivist Deborah Steedle-Wall to Trump's legal team confirmed the White House's involvement in the DOJ probe against Trump. On April 11th, The White House counsel's office, affirming a request from the Department of Justice supported by an FBI letterhead, formally transmitted a request that NARA provide the FBI access to the 15 boxes for its review within 7 days, with the possibility that the FBI might request copies of specific documents following its review of the boxes. These documents reviewed by Just the News are the strongest pieces of evidence showing the Biden White House's involvement in the DOJ probe. Although the White House previously claimed to have no advanced knowledge of the recent FBI raid on Mar-a-Lago. Does anybody really believe that the White House did not know about this? Trump posted on Truth Social. Witch hunt! However, Just the News does not report that the Biden had specific knowledge of the search warrant or the raid, but that their participation through waiving executive privilege was crucial to the investigation. They had to have known this was a potential outcome. In affirming its decision not to honor Trump's claims of executive privilege, Wall relied on a Supreme Court precedent that strongly suggests that a former president may not successfully assert executive privilege against the very executive branch in whose name the privilege is invoked. However, this case was ruled before Congress's current Presidential Records Act was enacted. Wall's letter to Trump's attorneys also claimed the former president had items marked as classified national security information in the set of 15 boxes Trump's team returned to the National Archives. After the National Archives reviewed those documents, they told the DOJ about the potentially classified material, which prompted the DOJ to ask Biden to request they turn over access of the documents to the FBI, Wall's letter explained. Other documents reviewed by Just the News show that Trump lawyer Evan Corcoran spoke with then White House Deputy Counsel Jonathan Sue about Trump's executive privilege claim over the documents in the spring, and in that letter they wrote, "We've requested the ability to review documents. That review is necessary in order to ascertain whether a specific document is subject to privilege, yada yada. We have had the opportunity to review the documents and consult with President Trump so that he may personally make a decision to assert the claim of constitutionally based privilege." That was all a major word salad, but the general gist and idea of it is that the Biden White House knew that some documents were missing, and they allowed these sub-organizations to do what they do and get up in there, and, well, you guys know the story from there. FBI, open up! That's what happens. That's what happens. Danielle says, OMG, I just listened to one of your songs this morning. You're awesome. Thank you so much, Danielle. I really appreciate that. Nancy says, I'm in Florida, and these names were not on the ballot, just county commissioners. Really? It might have depended on which congressional district you're in. I don't know if every single district had a primary. In fact, what's more than likely possible, and I'm not going to ask you to drop your county or anything, but if you do want to look up what your congressional district is, it might be possible that you were in one of these districts where there was only one Republican running, and there was no Democrat running, so it might have just automatically gone along. So I don't know what district that could be. I think the 2nd congressional district. Yeah, so you might be in the 2nd or the 5th. No, yeah, so you're probably in the 2nd congressional district where it looks like nobody was running other than the incumbent Republican. In fact, I'll even fact check that for you, just for you. Florida Congressional District 2. We're going to confirm this real quick. So your representative is Congressman Neil Dunn, and I'm going to check Ballotopedia real quick and see if he even had anybody running against him, because it's always possible, especially if that district's more in like the northern part of Florida, where I think it's just less densely populated. It's less likely that anybody's going to be running. So the Republican okay, boom. Vindicated. The Republican primary election was canceled. Incumbent Neil Dunn advanced from the Republican primary for the 2nd congressional district, as was the Democratic primary. So that's why you were only voting for county commissioners. You can just look up online what your congressional district is, and you might be able to find you're more than likely in the 2nd congressional district. Oh wait, Nancy, did you say you're in Hillsborough County? Let's do some more. Let's see here. Hillsborough County, Florida congressional district. Just because I want to make sure I'm right here. That's why. Okay. Hillsborough County is western. Okay, so it says Hillsborough County is actually in the 14th congressional district. Your representative is Kathy Castor. So let's take a look here. So it might be the same theory as the other one, just okay. House District 14. You say you're in Hillsborough, or were you asking for an update on Hillsborough County? Because you might, I don't know. Either way, that's the story. The 2nd congressional district had no primary, so the only logical explanation I can see is that you were either in the 2nd or maybe the 20th, whichever one of these that did not have a Republican or Democratic primary, considered depending on which one you're registered for. If you're a Republican, probably the 20th congressional district. Either one of those. We're gonna move on, but that's the story there. That's why you might have only had congressional or district county commissioners up. And Diane also says DeSantis is unopposed, so that's why statewide you didn't have anything to worry about, just county commissioners. But people that do have something to worry about, live in the state of Pennsylvania, where one of their two senatorial candidates aren't looking either great. Now, Dr. Oz is Dr. Oz. We can go on and on about that. But we got to talk about John Fetterman, who had to step back from the campaign trail, still won, because he had a stroke. This is John Fetterman speaking today at one of his first speeches, public events, since recovering from his stroke. And I haven't listened to it yet. I wanted to give you guys my pure reaction to it, but based on Jack Posobiec and his language here, I have a feeling this isn't going to be so great.
I'm honored to be standing in the shadow of your amazing building. Do you think of the 10 homes Dr. Oz has a union hall across their home? If you say you think the word of steelworker, what words come to your mind if you say steelworkers? Of all the words that bring to your mind when you hear the word steelworkers, does the word crudité come to your mind?
This is hard to listen to. This is hard to listen to. This is almost on the same level as...
Go, you know the thing. Rub my leg down.
It's almost as bad. It is almost as bad. I'd say in some ways it is bad. And I'm not even trying to come down and shame John Fetterman. A stroke is a natural thing. It's a natural thing, just like with Joe Biden. Now, I'll come down a little bit harder on Joe Biden because he's Joe Biden, and he said things like...
And you ain't black.
And he's done all sorts of crazy stuff. But John Fetterman, although you've probably done some things in your past that I probably could come down on you for. I'm sure you've been a Democrat for a while, if not the whole time you've been in politics. But either way, you're not the oldest guy. You're still within your prime, so I'm not going to attack you. But a stroke is a natural thing. And the best thing to do when you have such a terrible health thing happen to you is more than likely step back from a lot of your responsibilities, let your body heal, or maybe move on to other things in life. That's just what I say. Don't overexert yourself, and it appears here he's just not doing so well. And bear in mind, he spoke for 5 minutes, and this video is nearly 2 minutes long. We've listened to 35 seconds of it, so this is like at least a sixth or so of his speech. Just rough math right there. You can check me. It's probably somewhere closer around that range. So this is a fraction of his speech, but it's still a major fraction considering he did not speak for long. 30 seconds that we watched, and it just felt just grating to the ears. It's like trying to brake when your calipers are all worn away, and you're just it's metal on metal. It's metal on metal, and it's not working. It's you're slowing down your car, but it's a grinding sound, and eventually your brakes are going to give. They're going to give. I hate to compare his mind to a worn-out brake that doesn't have the caliper on it anymore, but unfortunately, it seems a whole lot like that's where he's at right now. I don't know. Diane says, we are in Pennsylvania. Yikes. Jenny says, OMG, please, not with this guy. I really do feel for you. And the worst thing about it, and why these primary elections matter so much, and why I cannot stress enough that we make good, smart choices, including in House District 11, which I'm going to rope this all together for in a second, is so that we don't end up in such a bad situation, where the only thing we have against John Fetterman is Dr. Oz.
Nope.
Dr. Oz.
It's no use.
Can you guys understand where I'm coming from here? Can you guys understand? So now we gotta circle all the way back to House District 11 in Florida. Now, I'm not endorsing either candidate, and obviously the election has already happened, but I want to highlight something to you guys real quick. You see, I'm not one to be ageist or anything, and I don't want to be, but Daniel Webster, currently, we're gonna check real quick, who is the congressman from the 11th Congressional District. There's a few Daniel Websters in history, so I gotta look up congressman. He actually turned 73 this year. Now, that's not the oldest person in politics. We're talking about Anthony Fauci, who turned 80 this year. And he's gonna be quite old, eventually. But he turned 73 this year, Daniel Webster did. And that's not the oldest, people can get along. But he actually has been photographed wearing a life alert. This is something that the Laura Loomer campaign publicized, and I just noticed today when I was doing a little research on these races. And I'm gonna struggle to find it now, even though I had it earlier. But this guy actually wears a life alert. Like, she was making fun of this. She was posting all about it. You can't have somebody wearing life alert sent back up to Congress. A lot of people have made this point. And it really begs the question of, we need to be getting a lot more out here in these primaries. Now, is Daniel Webster a better candidate than Laura Loomer? Maybe. Is Laura Loomer a better candidate than Daniel Webster? Possibly. Are neither of them the best candidate? Could it be whoever Gabriel Soriano is? Maybe he's the best candidate. Doesn't matter. But what we can do is look at the actions and look at the lifestyles of both. Daniel Webster, Laura Loomer, whatever it may be. You can look back and say, well, Laura Loomer handcuffing herself to the Twitter headquarters after getting banned. I don't like that, so I'm going to vote for Daniel Webster. That's well within your right. Daniel Webster wearing a life alert, that might be a turnoff for some people. And I think that would make a lot of sense. But I'm just saying we need to pay attention. And if somebody within the next few years might start sounding like,
That's not a word that's going to come to my mind. Crudité.
If he starts sounding like that in a few years, I hope the Floridians in Congressional District 11 don't complain. The ones that voted for him, at least. But he's served there a while. He's been serving, we were just looking at it since 2017. Maybe this will be his last time. I don't know. Who knows? Either way, that's the story with Congressional District 11. Just checking in again. People in the building. What's your thoughts on Oz supporting castrating kids chemically? Just all sorts of madness. I don't even want to get into it. I do want to get into this meme right here. This is a good one. This is John Fetterman with with Joe Biden's face plastered on him. This is commented under it. John Fetterman's a big guy. He's tall and he's wide, but that Biden face fits snug like a bug, snug like a mug, with a bottle of I don't know what type of drink rhymes with mug and jug, but either way. There it is. Joe Biden's face right there. Edit Fetterman's face into the first frame. I can't figure it out at the moment. Oh, somebody's suggesting a meme right here. There you go. That's really funny right there. I just love seeing these types of things. Shout out to Grand Old Memes. We're going to check out some more memes of his too. Like this one coming later with one of our other topics. Just good stuff. So that's the story. John Fetterman is in an interesting place. Wait, did somebody... Oh, okay. I thought somebody made a meme for a second. I thought I saw that. We have a ton more subjects we're going to be jumping into, including this breaking news today regarding something that hits a little close to home for me here in Atlanta. Plus, more stories about Anthony Fauci, about some stuff with Paul Pelosi, and a whole lot more about Alex Stein and Dave Portnoy. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after these brief messages from our sponsors, and it just so happens to be you guys. We'll be right back. Hey freethinkers, Chandler here, and welcome to the brand new one-of-a-kind commercial break. Here on the Chandler Crump channel, we pride ourselves on straight-talking nature, adherence to facts, resistance to media programming, and a loyalty to the red, white, and blue above all. These live shows are what I consider to be my job, and I only get paid on tips around here. So if you think I've done a good job or want to encourage me to do even better, then check out the description of this video and go to donorbox.org/support-Chandler. This is our donation processor and the one-stop shop to support all things Chandler. If you choose to, you can even have your name appear on stream to flaunt that you support our show. This is of course the illustrious Hall of Heroes bar above me. Another path to the Hall of Heroes is of course Cash App. My Cash App code is $ChandlerCR and it's visible on every one of my streams. Thank you guys so much. Now, let's get back to the show. Want to give a huge shout out to all the people who are watching over on Rumble. Paulicetus says, can't have a guy on life alert sent to U.S. Congress. Haha, good one. I wasn't saying that. I was just putting the information out there. My folks over on Gitter as well. Somebody says, needed Loomer in District 11. And somebody else says, or somebody asked on Rumble, can Anna Paulina turn her district red? Now, as far as I know, Congressional District 13 is red. There is... we'll do a check, because there was recent redistricting in Florida, so we're going to check this real quick for you. Florida's 13th Congressional District, and it looks like the Cook score, we're going to check that. We'll check Ballotopedia. So the current representative of Florida's Congressional District is, actually, drumroll please, I forgot about this part of the story, Charlie Crist, who was just nominated to run against Ron DeSantis this November for governor by the Democratic Party. Obviously, he launched his campaign before. So this is going to be very fun. This is who ran for it, or who was going to be running for it. The primary election, August 23rd. I think, is this the Democrat side? Okay, 2020 census. Let's see here. The primary will occur on August 23rd. General election is on November 8th. So here's what we're going to be looking at. District 2022. So here's the Democrat, Frank Kraft. Big slate of Republicans running for it. Anna Paulina is the one that's made it across. And here's some dropped out candidates. And it says, Cook Political Report says it's likely a Republican. So we're going to have to see how Eric Lynn runs things come November. But I don't know. I haven't heard of this gentleman before. He hasn't filled out any of the stuff. And let's see. Let's just do a quick check and see if he even has any social media or anything, because I always like to see that. Oh, he ran for something before. I think I'm missing something here, but we're gonna check out Eric Lynn real quick just to give you a good idea. So Eric Lynn on Twitter, obviously he's verified, just because that's what happens. It's official. My name is Eric Lynn. I'm the Democratic nominee for the 13th. We will keep this district blue in November, so it is going to be a battleground, and I'm very excited to see that. Endorsements, yada yada. Charlie Crist. Okay, we're gonna make Florida blue again. Okay, bro. Okay, we'll see what happens. But this district was recently readjusted, so it's now Cook ranks it a likely Republican district, but it's still very possible it could go the way of a different direction. So we'll keep an eye out on all those things. Crazier things have happened in Florida, and crazier things have happened with elections. But the only thing about it is, well, we're gonna have to see what comes next with it, which will be very interesting. We gotta jump into this Rayshard Brooks story here, though. I won't tease you guys any further about it. Actually, I will. Gen Z Patriot says, why don't you want to talk about Oz? I will gladly talk about Oz. I did not want to talk about that chemical thing right there, because that's a one-way ticket to YouTube hating me, and I don't want that right now. But let's check in with Rayshard Brooks. 2 Atlanta police officers were found to have acted reasonably during a 2020 encounter that ended with the shooting death of 27-year-old Rayshard Brooks, a specially appointed prosecutor said on Thursday. The 2 officers, Garrett and Devin, will not face charges due to the dynamic situation that was quickly evolving. Who is the executive director of the prosecuting attorney's council, said Pete Scandin, whatever. Given the quickly changing circumstances, was it objectively reasonable that he used deadly force? And we conclude it was. The shooting took place just 3 weeks after the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis, causing racial tensions to increase as Brooks was black and the officers were white. Pete said that he believes the race did not play a role in this instance, saying, this isn't one of those cases. This is a case in which the officers were willing to give Mr. Brooks every benefit of the doubt, and unfortunately by his actions, this is what happened. Police responded to an incident in which a man was reportedly sleeping in a car in the drive-thru of a Wendy's restaurant. Body cam footage showed that the officers had a calm conversation with Brooks for about 40 minutes. The officers told Brooks that he had too much to drink to be driving and attempted to arrest him. The arrest led to a scuffle where Brooks grabbed a taser from one of the officers and fled. He then fired the taser at Rolfe while he ran. Rolfe fired his gun, and autopsy found that Brooks had been shot twice in the back. So we heard all about this before, and to give you guys a little more context about this, this is what they did to the Wendy's. They burned down the Wendy's because that's how you make the racist police officers pay. You burn down the Wendy's. Right? I've actually visited this Wendy's myself. I walked right on this walkway here and took a look around what they did to this Wendy's. This is like a new Wendy's too. They remodeled it, or this is a freshly built one. It's their new model. And they went and they burned it down because I don't know.
What are we talking about?
I really don't understand, and I don't think most of us do, with the whole mess. They actually had to go in and tear this Wendy's down, so this Wendy's actually does not exist anymore. As you can see, this article says, permit filed for demolition of Wendy's, where Rayshard Brooks was killed by police. And this was July 2020, so this is only about a couple of months after it happened. After the shooting of Rayshard Brooks. So it got burned down. They went in there, they torched. I'm sure they looted whatever they could too. The leftover patties in the freezer. I'm sure somebody had a great time gobbling those up. The frozen. Oh, no, actually, Wendy's, it's never frozen. Never frozen patties from Wendy's, Can't forget that one. No, you definitely can't. Yep. But anyways, they tore that place to shreds and it's now been demolished. So that's the story. I guess in the end, they won. I don't know. No, it says R.A.P. Wendy's. I agree. Just rest in peace, Wendy's. I almost feel bad. I wonder if the Wendy's girl on Twitter, or the one that runs the Twitter account, will actually ever say anything about it. Will she say, very sad what happened to our Wendy's location in Atlanta? I've been to this Wendy's. I don't know if I've ever eaten there. You got to avoid eating food from inside the perimeter of Atlanta quite often. But the few times I do, maybe I would have gone to Wendy's. Michelle says, hi there, Chandler. When do you see yourself running for office? We need you. Well, I do turn 18 in a little under a month, so I think there are like a few offices I might be able to run for. But for the most part, I couldn't run for anything until I turn 20 or 25 for most offices, and then 35 for the grandest office, and that is a lifetime away. Literally, I think even doubling my lifetime still doesn't get you to 35. Let me just, 18 times 2. Okay, yeah. Okay, 18 times 2 gets you to 36. So yeah, I'll just have to live another life on top of what I've lived right now. I'll be a completely different person. It's a very interesting thing to think about, being this young and looking at how things could be in the future. So hey, that's the idea right there. Once I turn 18, I'll be so close yet so far. Speaking about somebody who's so close yet so far, though, we gotta talk once again about Dr. Fauci. Douglas Podcast says, or what was it, Douglas? Or well, somebody said they liked my shirt. Who said that? I think I just missed it. Hold on, am I looking right at it? Okay, it was Diane said like your shirt, Chandler. So thank you, Diane, talking about Fauci. And let me actually stand up so you guys can see the rest of it. So very true. I actually spat that lyric in a song, so you guys may have to check that out. It's called Future and has my name on it by Carlos Rossi. You can check it out on all streaming services. But it's true. The stuff with the puppies, all that. You can get that shirt over on our merch shop as well, and I'll show you guys that real quick before we jump into this Fauci story as well. Over on chandlercrump.com/merch. It is also in our description, and it's actually the first shirt on our website. It's definitely a personal favorite of mine. You can get your very own Arrest Fauci shirt for just $20. I don't know how much longer it'll be at that price. Inflation is a bummer. I'm getting emails constantly about having to raise prices on my shirts because the inflation is literally making them unable to sell to a profit with how low we price them. So if you want to get these shirts while you still can at these prices, make sure you go to chandlercrump.com and use code CRUMP at checkout. That doesn't give you a discount, it just makes you feel better. But just go to chandlercrump.com or the link in the description and pick up one of these shirts today. They're good stuff. Also, gas prices shirts, Vax Rebel shirts, Biden loves minors shirts, all sorts of good stuff. So you got to check it out right down there. And yes, notice Rand is still gunning for him. It's very true. And you're going to want to see why after the things that Dr. Fauci said on Fox today. Neil Cavuto says, do you think shutdowns, particularly for kids who couldn't go to school, do you think it's forever damaged them? Fauci says, I don't think it's irreparably damaged anyone.
Stop the cap.
Let's just hear it, shall we?
To essentially get to the point where we slow, if not shut some things down, not completely. And the record will show, Neil, that we didn't recommend shutting everything down. We wanted to cause a pause, to remember the terminology, to flatten the curve. But
What are we talking about? Stop the cap.
What do you mean, we didn't want to shut things down? The words lockdown, shut down, quarantine, flatten the curve all came out of your rat's mouth for us to listen to and us to shut down our lives, destroy the economy, destroy some of our families that couldn't get together when births happened, when weddings would have happened, and unfortunately, when deaths and funerals happened. We couldn't be with grandma. We couldn't be with your new niece or nephew. Some fathers were actually kept out of the delivery rooms with their own wives and girlfriends because they couldn't be there to see the birth of their child because it was quarantine, it was lockdown. Mothers were sequestered from their babies longer than necessary, which is already a thing that happens at hospitals, but for even longer to keep them safe from COVID. All sorts of mad, dumb stuff like that. And he wants to go all the way back, nearly 3 years later, and pull a...
I don't know what I said. I don't remember.
And say, I didn't say that.
Nope.
I never said anything of the sort.
Got him.
What a lie. What a lie.
In retrospect,
And we
Doctor,
did that
do you
because
regret that it went too far? Whatever your original intentions were, and it's easy to be a Monday morning quarterback here, but that it went too far, that particularly for kids who couldn't go to school except remotely, that it's forever damaged them.
Well, I don't think it's forever irreparably damaged anyone, but I think obviously, and if you go back and people selectively, Neil, pull things out about me, I was also one of the people that said we've got to do everything we can to get the children back in school.
You just can't listen. You can't listen to this guy. Can't listen to a word he says. He was the one that was basically making the choice about when your kids can go back to school and don't send them back to school. We'll wait till next year to do it. And now he's going to be like, well, I was actually the main proponent of sending the kids back to school. No, you weren't. That was Governor Ron DeSantis in Florida. That was President Donald J. Trump of the United States of America, who was like, all right, let's send these kids back to school. They need to learn. They need social situations. They cannot be raised on iPads and Xboxes. They need to see their teachers. They need to see smiles. And we still went through a whole year with the masks on, stunting the development of children and basically completely disabling the deaf who rely on reading lips and rely on facial cues to understand what's going on. Can you imagine being deaf and having to sit by, and the one thing that you had that could even slightly equalize you with people that could hear was knowing how to read lips. And then everybody started walking around with masks on. What am I supposed to do now? Ask them to start signing? Well, unfortunately, not a lot of people are going to pull up and gang sign it up. Use ASL with you. Sadly, not everybody knows it. I don't even know ASL. I don't even know the alphabet of ASL. A lot of people don't know it. It's just how things work. Meanwhile, he's probably going to turn around and say, well, I was the main proponent of taking the masks off as soon as possible. I actually never advocated for masks. And I bet in about a year's time, when we have vaccine callbacks and people, I can see the commercials already. If you or a loved one was injured by the COVID-19 vaccine and or one of the COVID-19 boosters, call this number on the screen and receive your free consultation to join a class action lawsuit. And I'm sure at that point, Dr. Fauci's going to sit there and say, well, actually, I didn't push for the vaccines. I didn't say anything. I was just talking about vaccine restrictions and how we can't let people go to school, go to college, go on a cruise, or enter some of these restaurants in some of these states because of their vaccine status. I didn't say any of that. All we can say and all we can do is ask and beg him to
Stop the cap.
But unfortunately, he's Dr. Fauci and he has all the power in the world. And even once he leaves his office in December, it looks like he still might have a whole lot of influence. And that's the bad part. That's the sad part. Dare Dad says Fauci wore 3 masks. Nice to see you again, Dare Dad. For once, we have both of our Australian correspondents in the building, Australia Day and Dare Dad. So very, very happy to see both of y'all in the building. I used to theorize that you were the same person, but I think for now, y'all are different. I think. We'll keep an eye out on you. Dare Dad, you're not Australia Day, are you? I know you've gone under a few names. I remember for a little bit you were Mad Lad Dare Dad, and now you're just normal Dare Dad again. And Australia Day, you're being suspiciously quiet. I don't know. He says, the last thing he said was Fauci was the head of the pandemic. The only way to flatten the curve is to clean the swamp. So I don't know. If both of y'all aren't the same person, pick a number between 1 and 10 and drop it in the chat right now. Pick a number between 1 and 10. I want to see y'all say a different number, and don't you dare say 7. If both of y'all say 7, it's over. It's over. You're both bots. It's confirmed. Anyways, we have more stories to jump into. I'm gonna stop razzing my favorite Australians in the building today. We gotta look at this meme right here. I showed it on screen a second ago, but it's just too good. From Grand Old Memes once again, one of the kings of memes on. Guys, they both said 7. They both said 7, and I bet as they were typing and they said 7, and then they heard me say don't say 7, they were like crap, and they had already pressed enter. Look at them. Look at them. They both said 7. It's over. I got y'all. We got them. Ladies and gentlemen, we got them. Okay. Anyways, I got them. I read them like a book. I'm proud of myself for that one. This is hilarious, though. I want to read Anthony Fauci in the trash like a book. Because look at this. I don't even know this guy's name. I think he was a CNN host. He got fired. I forget. But we've got Brian Stelter, Adam Kinzinger, and Liz Cheney. Did Adam get primaried yet? Hold on. Kinzinger primary. I don't know when his primary did or if it already happened. Was after all these things about Cheney's loss. Let me just some live checking with Kinzinger because I didn't know if he actually lost his primary yet or not. He was in the 11th congressional district. No, now he's in the 16th. Okay, he's in the 16th congressional district and of Illinois, 2020. So he won in 2020. And did he get primaried? We've got to check this out too. I hate that all this information isn't available in one place. We'll try Ballotopedia. Sometimes they give you what you're looking for as well. I gotta know. We cannot let this guy slide. Oh, he didn't run for re-election. Ah, now I remember. Okay, so Darren LaHood. I love that last name. I don't know who this guy is. I don't know what he stands for, but I love his last name, so I'm rooting for him against Elizabeth Haderline, which is actually one of the lamest last names I've ever seen. This guy's last name is literally LaHood. Okay, he is epic. He needs to win. It's over. He needs to win. So there's Adam Kinzinger, Liz Cheney, and now soon to be Dr. Fauci joining, although I think he's probably going to be the garbage guy. Like, he's going to be the one taking out the garbage, because unfortunately he'll probably have the most power. Although Liz Cheney might crawl her way out of the trash can, considering we've been seeing some polling, get this, of Liz Cheney running for president in 2024 as an independent.
Nope.
Go, you know the thing.
What are we talking about?
It's no use.
I have never seen anything more funny than that idea right there. I had to play so many sound effects to really rub it in. But does she really think that anybody from the
MAGA
party is gonna vote for her? Nope. I'll play it again. I'll play it again. Nope. Not gonna happen. She is not getting anywhere. Who she is stealing votes from, however, is Joe Biden. And we might look at that a little bit later. There was some polling that came out that showed Joe Biden polling very low because Liz Cheney straight up gobbles up his voters. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. Speaking of hilarious, we got to check in on my Australians after they both said 7. And then their dad tried to switch it to 9, but it was too late. Thick Wrist says, checking in, coming in fast and hot. Nice to see you, Thick Wrist. John Levin says, North Carolina here. Shout out to you. He says, Australia Day says, I read his mind. I did. Everybody says 7. Everybody says it. JRZR Relocated says 7. Australia Day says 0.5. You can't, no, we're not accepting decimal points. I already read you. It's over. Douglas says Lamau. I love it. And my favorite number is 7, too. Yeah, a lot of people pick that as their favorite number. Even I do. But my favorite number is 37. Not just 7. Followed by 444. I like that number a lot. Anyways, yeah, drop your favorite numbers in the chat while we're at it. It can be any string of numbers. Drop your favorite numbers. We're doing this now because everybody wants to be involved in the number party. Australia Day says, 2 minutes away. Talking about... What is that? Oh, okay. They're talking about where y'all are at. Y'all are networking about Australia in here. That's funny. But this is good stuff right here. This is really good stuff with Anthony Fauci and the whole mess right here. But unfortunately, things don't get much better than this. Things don't get much better. Nancy Pelosi, Paul Pelosi, all the fun stuff. Because it seems back in May, Paul Pelosi had a little bit too much fun and decided to get behind the wheel. And let's just say that wasn't the most responsible choice for him. And the video featuring his DUI has finally been released. And this is something that you are not going to want to miss. We're going to run this and a whole lot more very soon. But first things first, we got to play a quick message from our sponsor. We'll be right back after. Hey freethinkers, Chandler here. Have you ever worried for you and your loved one's data being taken online, like your social security number or bank information? Well, it's not an irrational fear. It's all totally possible. But I'm here to tell you there's a solution to that problem. The solution? It's called DataSeal.io. For one monthly or annual plan for you or even your household, you can have DataSeal systematically scan and remove your information from the internet. So if you're interested, hit the link in the description or go to DataSeal.io and use code CRUMP, that is code CRUMP at checkout for a discount on your subscription. Now, let's get back to the show. Very proud of our sponsor, DataSeal.io. Once again, you can go to DataSeal.io and use code CRUMP at checkout when you're signing up if you want to protect your data. I don't know how things are over there in Australia in the outback, but I know for a fact your data can be stolen anywhere on the planet. India, Vietnam, Laos, if they've got an internet connection, they can do it. I know I named a bunch of countries pretty much in that same area. Hey, your data can be stolen in Russia too. How about that? And then we'll have to sanction them for it. Maybe Zelensky's stealing your data. How about that? It's entirely possible. Or maybe Anthony Fauci's planning to make some nasty new bug based off of your data. So go to DataSeal.io, use code CRUMP, and protect yourself today. Because the best vaccine is the one that you don't have to put in your body, but around your personal data and your internet. So once again, DataSeal.io. We've got a bunch of people dropping their favorite numbers in the chat, and I quite like it. Jamie says 515. Pry L with a Y says 369. Dear Dad says he was born on the 27th. That's good. That's good. Dear Dad says our government steals everything for 7 years. I feel that one. I really do. We have a few other favorite numbers in the building. I want to get through these quick. Keep dropping your favorite numbers. I like numbers. 37 I personally is a crowned number for me, but I like to see what else you guys have. But now without any further ado, I know you guys have been waiting patiently. You got to see Paul Pelosi, who is too drunk to walk. He could have hurt somebody. Here's his DUI video. We got to see this.
So you could try both feet out if you want.
And there he is right there.
I'll let you start. You can try the test with both feet. I'll give you like a pre-trial run, for lack of a better term. You could try it with both feet, see which one you feel more comfortable with, and then once you're ready, just let me know.
Oh man, he looks like he can't even stand.
Are you sure you could complete the test? Okay. Because I really don't want you to fall over and hurt yourself. That's the last thing I'm. Right, but that defeats the whole purpose of the test, grabbing onto a patrol car.
You gotta let go of the car, buddy. Come on, Paul Pelosi. This goes on for a little while. We're gonna fast forward a bit. We can watch him stumble. He's not even, doesn't even, can't even walk.
Well, just based on what I'm seeing, I don't feel comfortable having you perform the test because I don't want you to have the potential to fall over and hurt yourself. That's not what I'm trying to accomplish.
He can't even complete the test. He is scared he's going to fall over and hurt himself. Once again, right to bear memes with the alley-oop and the meme. Cop says, any drugs or alcohol? Paul Pelosi says, no thanks. I've got both. With a little fantastic delivery from myself, if I do say so myself, but come on, guys. This is the Speaker of the House's husband. This is the third gentleman, if we're looking at the presidential line of succession. Basically, yeah, right up there. Because it goes Vice President, Speaker of the House, and then President Pro Tempore? Or is it other way around? Maybe fourth general? I think it's Speaker of the House right after Vice President, right? Or is it President? I get them mixed up because I think it would make sense for President Pro Tempore, but I'm pretty sure it's Speaker of the House, line of succession. We'll just check this out real quick. Presidential line of succession. I gotta know. Okay, it is Speaker. I was right. And this is what I like doing. It's just every time you just look at this, just a full lineup, all blue. So yeah, Speaker of the House. He is the third gentleman of the United States. If I'm sure one day that term will become something of importance. But Paul Pelosi, the husband of the Speaker of the House, who's a woman, so third gentleman. It doesn't mean anything, but I'm coining it now. I'm sure somebody said it before. Third gentleman of the United States can't even complete the field sobriety test. Not the breathalyzer, but just walking across the line. Can't even do it. Not even going to attempt it. The officer has to put a stop to it because he is scared Paul Pelosi is going to fall over and hurt himself. And you ask us why? Why do we think these people aren't fit for office? If this is the man that Nancy Pelosi chose to spend her life with, and you can't judge somebody entirely by their worst moments, but this is pretty dang bad. This is pretty dang bad for Paul Pelosi. The memes, all that good stuff. There's a whole lot more, I'm sure, that we haven't seen yet. We might have to check the rest of the video out, but it's sad. It really is sad. This guy is obviously troubled. We know about his past, in which there are apparently more DUIs, and in fact, even deaths related to these DUIs. This story is just not great. We don't like it. Daredevil 3 is a prime number, 7 is a prime number, 37 is a prime number. Great combo. Huh, I didn't know this. That's very cool. I haven't been one to study prime numbers, but I guess that makes sense as to why I like it. But that's the story with Paul Pelosi, and man, guys, once again, you have to see how this guy is swaying. He can't even. Yeah, Paul Pelosi was too drunk to even walk. He could have seriously hurt somebody. I'd say he could barely stand. He could barely stand. Meanwhile, I can't. I can't. We've got another story to jump into, and somebody actually hinted at it before. Thomas Blake says, Alex Stein is my hero. Well, I don't want to spoil too much, and things are obviously still in the works, but make sure you tuned into this Thursday's show. We might have a special little treat for you, Mr. Thomas Blake. But for now, we're going to cover some Alex Stein news that happened just last night. Very big, very fun story that you're not going to want to miss out on. Now, we're going to use this article because it connects to another part of the story we're going to be covering here. But for now, we're going to check it out from here. Portnoy, who is the founder of Barstool Sports, and actually, no, we're going to go through this. Monday night, Portnoy engaged in a Twitter beef with comedian Alex Stein. That would be Dave Portnoy, who, as I read a second ago, is the founder of Barstool Sports. A truly fearless internet disruptor. Stein, who is now a contributor to Blaze TV, just congratulations to that. That is a dream come true, by the way. Blaze is an amazing place. I would be proud to be a Blaze contributor or a show host or anything like that, so big shout out to Stein for that one. Mocks local and national politicians of all political parties with viral videos. Barstool's Twitter feed posted a hilarious video of Stein trolling members of the Las Vegas City Council. Within hours, though, Barstool deleted the post. Stein called out Barstool's cowardice, tweeting, "It's so cute that Barstool Sports is owned by Stool Presidente, who is accused of the most heinous things, but they are too afraid to keep my content up." Portnoy struck his tough guy pose, responding, "Buddy, shut up. We are owned by a gambling company. We've had roughly 9,000 training sessions not to post stuff like this because regulators don't like it. Go back to whatever hole you crawled out of." Fantastic grammar. Via DM, Portnoy offered to have Stein on his podcast, but quickly changed course. Portnoy is a fraud. He has no core values, no defined set of beliefs. He has no redeeming qualities other than his wealth. Remove his money, and he wouldn't have a friend in this world. If we weren't living in an era completely hostile to masculinity, Portnoy would be broke in Boston delivering pizza. The prohibition of masculinity is what made heroes and millionaires of men like Portnoy and Tate. If you guys were keeping an eye on my YouTube channel, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, then you will see that I actually posted a short update that recounts what happened with this entire story. And I think if we have a little bit of time, let me check the time. Yeah, we've got a little bit of time. We're going to play this for you guys. So if you've already seen this, this will just give you a quick recap. But I want you guys to get an idea of just what happened, and you also get to look at one of our shorts, and I will be wearing the same thing I am wearing now because I recorded this a few hours ago. Don't judge me, but do enjoy. There seems to be a little bit of drama brewing on Twitter, as yesterday Dave Portnoy went after world-renowned primetime 99 Alex Stein. You're going to want to see this one. Dave Portnoy starts it out on Twitter by saying, "I effing hate this guy at AlexStein99 and will now actively root for his demise." But of course, to add insult to injury, not only did Dave Portnoy receive a very near ratio, but one of the very few people to retweet him was Dan Crenshaw. You see, it appears recently that Dave Portnoy actually invited Alex Stein onto his podcast. He said, "Come on my podcast tomorrow." Alex Stein says, "100%, I would love to. What time?" And Dave says, "What's your email?" He then goes on to tweet, "I hate Alex Stein," and the following direct messages ensue after that. So Alex Stein responds to Dave Portnoy by saying, "You're getting humiliated on Twitter tonight, talking about his absolutely horrendous ratio." Dave Portnoy responds, "Guess I'll just have to sleep gently on my $500 million net worth." Which is a really good response until you add it into context. You see, Alex Stein says that you made from getting children addicted to online gambling. Congratulations. Talking about Dave Portnoy's history with gambling and also SafeMoon. Not so great. You see the DMs continue, this time from Alex Stein's perspective. And Alex says, "Dave, you run away. You're scared." And Dave says, "Nah, you're not worth my time. You're too political for me. Have fun doing whatever you do for whoever you do it for. Never heard of you before. Never will talk about you again." And Alex Stein wraps it up saying, "Okay, Dave, but I'm pretty sure I'll continue to live rent-free in your head for a while after getting humiliated like this." All right, this is the part where you guys come in. Who do you think won the battle? Who do you think won? Who do you think won the battle? I gotta ask. Because, I don't know, we went through it really quick there. There's a minute and 30 to cover basically everything I hadn't already talked about right there. That was some deep stuff from Alex Stein, and he got the words Dave Portnoy to actually trend yesterday. So it was major right there, and actually there's Alex Stein going on Jason Whitlock's show right there. And that part of the puzzle is actually going to come in as well. Jason Whitlock is the one who authored this article and posted it to his feed. This is actually in connection to his show that he has with The Blaze, Fearless. So he posted this part, "Dave Portnoy is a fraud, no core values, yada yada." We already read this. Dave Portnoy actually directly responded to Jason Whitlock, and all he says is, "You're fat." Okay, dude. You're really getting somewhere. I'm sure Barstool Sports has a million different, as you said, seminars and educational things to teach your people not to be fat phobic and fat shame people. So you might need to attend one of those yourself, Dave Portnoy. But as you guys can see, Alex Stein appears to have actually appeared on the show with Jason Whitlock to talk about it today. As you guys know, he's a Blaze TV contributor, so it's all coming full circle. The story is getting bigger and bigger. The beef between Dave Portnoy and Alex Stein is getting that much juicier, and I can't wait to throw it down on the grill, flip it over, and enjoy it for dinner as a nice sirloin steak, because this is getting even more fun. Last but not least, before we wrap up the stream, we're going to take another quick check through the primary races. All but one of the races in the Democratic and GOP houses have been called. So if you're just tuning in, I'm going to give you what you've been waiting for if you just got in. Matt Gaetz will continue on into the general election and more than likely be re-elected. Kat Kamak the same, as well as Jay Rutherford, W. Waltz, and Daniel Webster, G. Bilakaris, and a few other incumbents as well, including Byron Donalds. We also have some new ones coming along that will more than likely shake things up, including A. Bean, which is a really cool initial. M. Waltz, Corey Mills against beating Anthony Sabatini, which is a major upset to a lot of people. Nobody was expecting that. And Anna Paulina Luna, who will be continuing on into November, hopefully to flip the blue district of Corey Mills to red. Polls closed at 9, says Diane, so we're going to check in on that in a second. Good catch. I'm very proud of you for that one, Diane. We'll go on. Dare Dad says, "Let's go Republican." I feel that one right there. And a few other races that were called as well. 28 House districts in Florida. They actually gained one, if I remember correctly, because they've been growing so much in population, so that's very good for Florida. Obviously, the Florida gubernatorial, Ron DeSantis ran unopposed for the Republican nomination, so we're not too concerned about that. He's going to hold on to that. for this time, and we're gonna see what happens in, oh, whoops, I am gone. We're gonna see what happens in just a couple of months' time in November, but I am very, very excited for that one. We also have the New York House results, which should be coming in soon, although I don't know if we'll have time to get to some of them. Some of them are coming in. It only closed down a few minutes ago, but we do need to wrap things up soon. We'll keep an update. Honestly, not many of these races seem to be too, like, nationally covering. We'll see if there's any incumbents that get primaried or anything like that. Both on the Republican and Democrat side, since power is pretty concentrated over there in New York. And also, last but not least, I do want to take a quick look at the Oklahoma Senate race. This is going to be interesting. Madison Horn appears to be running away with it against Jason Bowling, so that is good right there. That might be actually one of the first one of the first nominees for Senate in Oklahoma that is a woman. I might be wrong, but I don't know. I haven't seen it before. There's always a record being broken somewhere, somehow. I'm sure they'll talk about it. But it still says 51% of the vote left to be counted, so hey, could go either way. But that's the story for all that. And last but not least, the New York special election as well seems to be at the same place with the hard-to-pronounce names. But either way, as I'm saying a lot tonight, that's the story. It might become one of my catchphrases. I might have to put that on a shirt instead. I want to thank each and every one of you who has tuned into the show again tonight. We're going to have another great show tomorrow at 4 on the Chandler Brief, where we cover all sorts of news, including some of these races tonight that we did not get tonight, and what we have looking forward to come November, what state we believe could possibly see districts flipping, all that good stuff, and a whole lot more tomorrow. Billy Stink says, knock on doors, people. I did for the Hagman campaign. It works. Billy, are you out there in Wyoming? That's really cool. If you're talking about the Hagman against Liz Cheney, because if so, that is really cool. I've done a little bit of door knocking myself. I was door knocking in Florida recently, just for fun, and then I also door knocked in Georgia as well last year for the Georgia Senate runoffs. And although it didn't go the way on either of the races I was door knocking for, it was still a very, very valuable experience. So if you want to do something, get out there, fight for what you believe in. Door knocking is a great way to do it. But aside from all that, thank you guys so much for being tuned in. Shout out to St. June. He's his wonderful show again, Chandler. Happy to see you in the building again. St. June, all my folks who are in here. Australia Day says food shortage coming near you. I hope not. I really do hope not. But once again, aside from all that, I'll catch you next time, free thinkers. Don't forget to spread the virus of intelligence. Peace out and good night.
Into the light.